Good morning, everyone. I saw a question the other day in a closed forum. It's about a practice owner was asking this following question, that an oral health therapist dropped their resume into the practice and he interested to work in the practice. They currently work in a specialist practice and they're asking for a certain pay. And I think the pay structure they're asking for was quite high for an OHT or oral health therapist. And they were asking on the forum, is this a normal pay fees and should I hire them? Are they a good value to my practice? And just asking those random questions. I want to analyze this post and also I want to share my thoughts on that with you and what advice I gave or also I would be giving someone in a similar situation. First, for credibility, my name is Khaled. I have been a dentist for 20 years. I run my own dental practice, Lakeside Dental Spa in Hervey Bay in Queensland. I taught from 1 chair to 10 chairs, from 3 staff members to close to 40 staff members over the course of 14 years. And you can check my details below for credibility. So number one advice I would give is, what is your business plan? So the worst thing you can do is just sit there without any plan and someone apply for a job and it's like, okay, maybe I'll hire them. Maybe we'll see what we can do with a hygienist or a therapist. And what happens is, because you don't have a plan, probably as I say, failing to plan is always planning to fail eventually. So if you don't have a plan, you will hire them. You might hire them in a very high wage that you didn't expect you will be spending that much. And you don't have a system in place on how you are going to grow their employment book, and you'll end up in a situation where it didn't really add value to your practice. So number one, have a plan. And if you don't have a plan, don't do anything now except go and have a plan. See exactly what you want to do with your business in the next 12 months, the next 5 years, or the next 10 years. What kind of growth you want to grow? Do you need to hire OHTs or dentists? And I have other videos I cover the difference when you should be hiring an OHT and when you should be hiring a dentist in your practice ownership. So let's assume you want to hire an OHT as part of your plan. So don't hire the first one that knocks on your door and drops the resume. Then you start to define exactly what's their job description, what do you want them to do in your practice, how many days do you want them for, have a clear plan of how much production you're expecting them to provide in your practice as well, what kind of patients you're going to be seeing. And then put an interview, start interviewing, put an ad, start interviewing, and then start offering position as such with the wage structure that will work in your practice and see who will fit into that and hire them. But hiring the first one that knocking your door with demanding certain wage package might not be the best value for you. So create a plan first. You might in your plan realize that you don't need an OHT, so you need to ignore this person who knocked on your door and apologize and say, look, I can't offer you a position. If your plan is to hire OHT, as I said, follow the process. If your plan is to hire a dentist, then don't look into OHT. Just focus on finding the right dentist that you're looking for. Don't just hire the first dentist that knocks on your door or the first dentist you interview. Just find the right dentist that will fit into your plan. So have a plan in place. My other thought on OHT is I have videos on my thoughts on OHTs in general, or hygienists or therapists, and why they are important in your practice and when is the best timing to hire them. Please find them in my channel. But I find that oral health therapists who works for specialists or hygienists who work in specialist practices, usually they are periodontist or orthodontist practices. The thing you have to be very cautious or aware of, if I am an OHT working for a specialist practice, usually the wage I'm receiving in a specialist practice will always be higher than any general practice for many reasons. Number one, for a specialist periodontist or orthodontist, their production is very, very different. And the amount of production the hygienist or the therapist is producing in an hourly rate on the chair is huge compared to a general practice. And a general practice can never compete with a specialist fees, very rarely. So the specialist can afford to offer them a higher wage. Also their value in a specialist practice is very, very high. The specialists really rely on OHTs. It's very hard for a specialist to hire a general dentist, nearly impossible. So they rely on oral health therapists and hygienists, and they add a lot of value to the practice. So to attract them to work in the practice and choose them over a general practice, they offer higher wages, and you cannot compete with that. It's very hard to compete with that, of course. Number three, for OHT, the system in place and working in a special practice, I think, from my opinions, could be sometimes easier. Easier in the way that you're doing one procedure, usually, or two, and you repeat them in every appointment and every patient, and there is a system to support you with that. You're not jumping between different procedures. And when they jump into a general practice or working part-time general practice and specialist practice, they now find that general practice is a bit more challenging because they're shifting from an exam and clean to a child requiring treatment to changing orthodontic attachments on an Invisalign. They may be doing a deep clean on a perio patient. The shift between procedures can be harder compared to an OHT who started in a general practice from day one and they haven't worked in a specialist practice. So my advice with OHTs, try to find new grads OHTs. They don't have expectations and habits yet, so you can really mold them into fitting into your culture and into your general practice, or an OHT with an experience in general practice, because they can understand the difference in workload and the shift in mind between procedures. Hiring OHT who works in a specialist practice is possible, but you might face those challenges, and also they will face the challenges as well. So always be aware of that before you hire them. If you find this information helpful, make sure you like and share it with your friends and colleagues. If you want to hear more about my videos, please subscribe to my channel and you'll be notified when more videos are released. Thank you so much for listening to me. It means a lot to me.